we've had a chance to look at our steps to solve an equation with an example, I want to see if those steps would apply to this example here that I've written. So I need to solve for x. Looking at the steps, step 1 says to use the distributive property to get rid of parentheses. But as I look at my equation here, I don't see any parentheses, so I think I'm going to skip this first step since it doesn't seem to apply to my equation. The next step tells me to combine like terms. Let's see if I have any like terms. If I look over here on the left-hand side of the equal sign, I see that I have a 5x and a 2x. If I combine those, I get 7x's. This negative 4 constant term does not have anything to combine to. It has nothing else alike, so I'm going to bring it down and look at the right-hand side of the equation. Over here, if I look, I have a 5 constant term and a 6 constant term. If I add those, I get 11, and again, this variable term does not have anything like it, so there's nothing to combine it with, and I'll bring it down. Now my steps tell me to isolate the variable. My equation looks different. I have variables on both sides of the equation. That's not what I saw before. How am I going to get the variable all by itself? If I look back at the previous example that we did, I noticed here that when I had c all by itself on the left-hand side, I then began to move the terms to the right. Like here, I subtracted 10 for both sides, and as you can see, I moved that constant term over to there to the right-hand side. I used the addition and subtraction property of equality. So maybe if I use that here in this example, I could actually get my variable terms on the same side. So what I'm going to do is, if I'm adding 6x, I'm going to subtract the same quantity to both sides using my subtraction property of equality. So that will go to 0. 7x minus 6x gives me x. Bring down the negative 4. And then here, this goes to 0, so I have 11 left. And now if you look at this, this looks a lot like what we did before in a previous example. So I'm going to continue with step 3 because I now have isolated my variable and I need to undo the addition or subtraction. So here I'm subtracting 4, so I'm going to undo that by adding 4 to both sides. And x equals 15 would be my solution. And what I need to make sure that I do is I need to then rewrite my original equation so that I can check my solution. And remember, when you are checking your solution, you are looking for a true statement. And I made my skeleton, and I'm going to substitute my solution into my parentheses, and my parentheses were just everywhere that I saw an x. And then I'm going to simplify, following my order of operations. And I end with a true statement. Therefore, my solution is x equals 15.